On today's episode, I'm joined by Pleasant Player, and we're going to talk about the HSL 2026 season. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of CyTALKSalots. We are here with our very good friend Brad, Pleasantplayer1230, the owner of the HSL, and he is here to talk to us today about the HSL, what they're kind of going to do this year, and the differences between this year and previous seasons. Hello Pleasant, how are you doing today, man?
Hello everyone, and hello the viewers of the CyTALKSalots podcast. Thank you so much for having me here.
Of course, thanks for coming. It was actually a bit of a task deciding who should come on first, but I thought, you know what, you're a regular, I collab with you a lot, let's do this, you know, and a call back to our first ever podcast we did years and years. But now things have changed.
It is such the honor. I know.
Yes.
It has been a long time since then.
Exactly.
So yeah, I am so excited this year for the HSL. We got some big things coming up, some different things heading in to the off season before the season starts. Is mainly where the changes are. You know, we're gonna do jersey numbers. We're gonna do like a draft this year to select the teams. And yes.
Yeah, I remember that from the introduction video on the Discord server a while back. But can you just give us like a little bit of a hint as to what that's going to look like?
Of course. So we are going to have some tryout dates. They're still undetermined as of this moment. But throughout the dates, we are going to have team captains be watching over a bunch of the players. And during the draft, we are going to have the team captains select 2 players that they want to have on their team. And you know, I am just so excited. I hope this brings some engagement. We have a lot of great team captains already signed up for 5 teams, so we only have 1 more left.
Which teams are still available?
I am glad you asked. That's a great question.
Yeah,
let's head over.
Let's let him quickly grab his notes real quick. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. So far we have if I'm not mistaken, the Zebras will be returning for their 3rd season now. 2nd if we don't really count the first one. We have the Parrots, the Turtles, the Pandas, I believe, as well as who else? That's
the
4.
New team this year. You already said the Parrots.
Yes, the Parrots. Who else is there? The Ducks. I said that already.
Pandas,
the Ducks.
the Ducks.
I am very...
One of the teams.
Let's just take a look. Okay, so we have the Parrots, the Zebras, the Turtles, the Ducks, and the Pandas. So that is a slight change from last year. We don't have any geckos. We do have Parrots. There's 1 slot still available. Is there a lot of competition right now for that slot, or do we need to promote a little bit?
Not really. I kind of want to save the spot for a content creator, so I'm kind of just looking about on Twitch and stuff, seeing what's going on. But if any content creators, you know, are interested after this podcast, hit me up and maybe we can make it happen.
That would be really cool, actually, because one of the things with HSL is most of the player base are mostly gamers. You know, we don't have too many streamers, too many YouTubers. It would be cool to have a more content creator-sided team, you know, maybe doing some vlogs in between, a little bit of PR, because... you know, it would just be a little bit of fun to shake things up, you know?
Yes, of course. So, to answer your question about like 2 minutes ago or whatever.
Yes.
The remaining teams are the Mysterious Snakes, Guardian Geckos, and the Ferocious Bears.
Ooh.
So one of those teams are going to get selected whenever we find our next team captain.
Hopefully. So, what are the current team captains looking like? Who do we have? We have X-Hood for the Zebras, obviously, but I'm seeing Serba on here. Serba was on the staff last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true, yes. I thought, you know, since we had a staff member last year, Serba is great. I think he is going to lead a team really well. He's experienced with the HSL, so I thought if we had someone like that on a team, we could kind of get some more momentum going, you know? I think Serba's going to do really well as team captain.
We love to see it. So what else has been shaken up within the HSL, like organization? What main changes are there internally that the players might not see as much this year?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So something that we're going to be doing this year that wasn't really seen a lot last year is ranking the characters, the players specifically. So at the end of every video, last year, Serba gave like an analysis of everyone, but we never really combined it into a league, like league ranking.
Like individual evaluations.
Exactly. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing this year is players will now get new rankings based on like how many kills they get, how long they survived, just like kill to death ratios. And so we're actually going to have a list of all the players from like, who's top of the leaderboard doing well versus who's a little bit in the middle and at the bottom. So yeah, we're making this kind of like a professional league. Like this is going to be a real thing coming up. Hopefully we'll get some more views this year, more
definitely. Engagement.
I'm really excited to see how this goes and how at the end of the day the viewers react to these changes.
I'm trying to find the Excel sheet that we had for that, but I can't find it right now, so we'll take a look at that later.
Yeah.
You just said you wanted more views for the videos. Are you going to approach the recordings differently? Are we going to see some live events? Like, what changes are you making this year?
Shoot, to be honest, I was thinking more of having word of mouth play into it more. Obviously with the draft and everything, we want to get more engagement. So I'm kind of relying on the players a lot this year to spread the word to the friends and to the communities if they have one. And I am kind of thinking about making some changes to like the schedule, making it more accessible to players. A live game honestly doesn't sound that bad of an idea at this current moment. So, I mean, shoot, everything's kind of up in the air right now.
It would definitely be entertaining, to say the least. And it is especially difficult to plan these things over multiple time zones because the United States alone has, 4? And then you're factoring in the British players, the European players. I'm pretty sure we had like 1 or 2 people from like Australia last year.
We did.
Are we going to have the same challenges this year, or do you think we can probably optimize it a little?
So obviously, that's a challenge for anything worldwide. So what we do here at the HSL is we give the dates, we give the times, and we give them to the players. We let them know way before the season what times they would need to be available and if those work for their specific time zones. And unfortunately, especially with the Australia players, they're basically like 24 hours ahead of us. So like,
it's
by
9.
us, I mean me.
Maybe not 24, that wouldn't.
Basically me.
Yeah.
They're basically like a whole day ahead of us. So like 1 p.m. for me is like midnight for them. So it's like, it gets really complicated. So I try my best to make times that work for the central world and not just the United States, but at the end of the day, there will always be some complications. And so that's why we have some substitute players that we used last year that we're continuing to use this year. And hopefully team captains will be able to negate some of these troubles we had last year.
Love to hear it. So are the team captains going to have any special influence and power over the teams, or is it more of a symbolic role?
Yeah, of course. So realistically, it will be symbolic, but for the most part, the team captains, their main duty is to secure players on their teams. Obviously, during the draft, they are going to select their entire team, and we're kind of going to focus a lot for the team captains, working with them and finding sub players for their teams. Last year, it was really hard because the staff really had to find the subs themselves.
I remember that. That was stressful. Yeah, like you'd be messaging a friend you haven't seen in like, I don't know, 3 months. You're like, hey man, you busy right now? We've got something going on. We desperately need your help. And then, I mean, shout out to those people for being on standby, because that was honestly really helpful for them. But yeah, 100%. like we said earlier, it's very difficult. So it's probably easier if we had more team-based substitutes where they themselves organize that their team can play, so it kind of takes the stress off of us a bit.
Exactly, 100%. And I messaged people last year. I literally hadn't messaged in over a year. They didn't even know who I was, basically. And I'm like, hey, we got something happening in like 10 minutes. You want to join us?
Definitely.
And most of them said no. But to the people who did join last minute, didn't even know what the heck was going on, and they still performed. We appreciate them.
Massive shout out to them. So I did find the Excel sheets. I did cook this up, I believe, a couple of months ago in January, perhaps. And I'm just having a look at this. I'm not going to reveal too much because we do want to keep some suspense. But the rating system is largely based off of kills and deaths. Do you think we should have it more balanced out, or is there some sort of way we can is there some sort of way we can better evaluate team players rather than the solo person going in all 007 hunting people down?
Yeah. So that's definitely gonna go have some influence on the rankings. We'll talk about it more with the team captains. I really want to work with them this year to make sure things go smoothly. So what I want to do is I want to talk with them about the rankings, see how they think we should rank them. And obviously, kills and how much time you play are really important. But again, that team player aspect is so huge at the end of the day. So yeah, we're gonna, it's a work in progress for the rankings, but I'm confident we're gonna get it sorted out. We're gonna get it fixed, and this is gonna make the league a more professional and engaging league.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And yes, exactly. Shout out to Midnight, especially last year. I remember they were calling out players from across the map. They didn't get their hands dirty too much, but they were on their best lookout the entire time. And it's players like those who really, they assist the people who eventually do get the kills. And it is really a team sport if you look at it from the player's perspective, because if you alone have to hunt down 3 people on a map that is about, I don't know, how big are they this year? It's a very difficult task, right?
Yes, it is quite difficult. So we want to make sure that we shine the light to those players who truly just go above and beyond for their teams. And we're hoping these rankings can kind of shine the light on them as well throughout the season.
We love to give credit where it's due.
Exactly, yes, 100%. And then to answer your question, actually, something about builds that we're going to do new this year. Most of the builds are actually pretty secret, so I'm not going to speak too much on those.
Can you give us a little hint,
What I will say...
Can you give us a little hint, though?
Ooh, unfortunately I cannot. But yeah, the builds are definitely the most secret part, because we want to make sure that these players, when they're going in, they have no advantage when it comes to builds as to the other team. So to keep it like that, we just want to keep it a surprise, because at the end of the day, it actually is a little bit more fun when the players are like, I wonder what map I'm going to be playing on, and we just see how they go from there. But for the builds this year, what we're going to do is every week the builds are going to progressively get bigger. Yes. So the first map is going to be 40 by 40 blocks, and it's going to keep on going up by 5s. And then as we get longer into the season, it's going to go up by 10s. And in the finale map, it's going to be 80 by 80 blocks. It's going to be a pretty big map for our players to go on. So yeah, we're hoping this is going to add a little bit more spice and engagement, and a little bit more intensity to the maps, and how well the builders do on those. I mean, it is just amazing to see them come to life. It is great. Shout out to the builders.
I was on the build server, I believe, a couple of days ago, and I was just having a little sneak peek at some of the builds. I didn't look into them too much, but I just had a little glance. They're honestly coming along so well, and I can't wait to see them in the actual showdowns. Do you think that the maps getting bigger is going to be more of a challenge as the season goes on? Because keep in mind, these teams, they only face off against each other once before the knockout stages.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So obviously we wanna make some challenge for the players. I felt like if we kept the builds at the same rates, it might get like a little bit weird for a small map being so big. So we wanted to like make some small maps at the start of the season, and then as we go on, the map settings are going to get larger, more imaginative, more creative ways we can maneuver this idea we have and make it into the real life. So obviously it's going to be a challenge for these players, but we're confident that they're going to give it their all, they're going to do their best, and we'll make sure the map isn't too hard for them when it gets to those 80 by 80 maps.
Of course. And speaking of creativeness, none other than Captain Creative last year, I remember this. He had I think it was like a ghillie suit, camouflaged himself in with a tree. Right, these players, they are very creative, so even if the map isn't all too big, they can certainly find an angle to evade the hiders for just that extra 30 seconds.
I mean, that was truly an incredible moment we had from Captain Creative, and I believe some other players did it as well throughout the season.
In a bright red suit, might I add.
But man, it was like last season, I can't believe it was 2 years ago. That was so much fun. I really enjoyed watching it. It was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years. Oh my god, you're right. 2024.
Yeah, we didn't have an HSL last summer. Last summer was the busiest summer I've ever had in my life, so I just never got to creating the HSL. But I'm hoping this summer I'll have a little bit more flexible timing where we can actually make the HSL happen.
That's what we love to hear. Is the HSL future-proof for the coming years, or do we think that this season may be one of the last?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think it all depends on our staff. I think it really does. The HSL really is a week long. Like, for our players anyway. For our players, it's just a week. You have games Monday through Friday, and then you have the finales Monday, Tuesday after that, and then you're basically done. But when it comes to our staff, the HSL is like 8 months long. Like we started talking about builds and starting making these changes all the way in January, even a little bit earlier with ideas from last year. So as long as we have a staff of builders, of people to help me out with, obviously Cyclops, you helping me out with advertising here.
Of course.
If we can make sure we have that ongoing, I don't see why we couldn't have the HSL for a couple more years.
That's what we love to hear. And wow, I think we should go back a little bit. Earlier you mentioned player jerseys.
Yes.
In accordance with Captain's little camouflage suit from 2 years ago, are the skins going to be color coded? Are the teams gonna have a bit of wiggle room where they can adapt it per map, or what's that gonna look like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The reason really this year I want to focus on jerseys is because every other professional sport has a player with a number, right? And that's what I wanted to do this year. I wanted to give the players numbers, for the rankings and everything, making it more professional. The jerseys will be the color of their team, obviously. And I might make a little bit of some leeway throughout the season. Maybe, you just have a patch on your back or something with like your number and your color. It's not set in stone just yet as what we're going to do with the jerseys, but we'll make sure to get some player input, see what they say, and at the end of the day, make the opinion that helps the league and helps a player advance with the idea we have.
Wow, that sounds very exciting. I can't wait to see the final product. Now, one question that just popped into my mind. In the past 2 seasons, the demographic of the player base has been predominantly male. Are we branching out this year? Are we going to look for a more diverse setup?
Yeah, so I would absolutely love some other players to come into our league. At the end of the day, when it comes to the draft, it's really going to depend on what the team captain selects. I will make sure to advertise as hard as I did for seasons prior to try to get every demographic we can. I want to try to get one person from every continent. That's a personal goal of mine. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I would love to have some more female representation in the game, and I think that would help out the league a lot.
Love to see it. Do we think we could have a female captain perchance? Because there is one slot still available.
Hey, I mean, if any female content creators play Minecraft, hit me up and we can make you a team captain. And I think that'd be a great idea, actually.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do then. Now, Pleasant, do you have any other before we end today? Because we are almost out of time. Is there anything else you'd like, a finale note you'd like to end on?
Finale note. Ooh, that's a good thing. Here, let me see. On the spot, I'm going to be working with some captains, and I have an idea in my mind of what I want to do this year that was different from other years.
Okay.
And I don't want to reveal it just yet, but if the team captains, if they all agree to it, I think this would make the schedule of the league a whole lot better. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned with the HSL. Make sure to join our Discord, so anytime we give out updates, you are right there with it. Tell your friends about the HSL. Be like, yo, I found this cool league. We should totally try out for it. And, everyone is invited. We'd love to have everyone participate this year. Let's make sure HSL 2026 is the one to remember in the history books. That's my goal.
And, of course, I left this out, but Pleasant, if we should like to work together again, I am also willing to sponsor a potential prize. Can we make that happen again this year?
Right. Yes. Well, hey, I'll stick in contact. Maybe even after this podcast, we can talk about.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit of negotiating.
Great idea. Yep. Yeah. Well, actually, on this topic, I do want to give a shout out to the Electric Zebras last year. They donated all of their prize money to charity. So shout out the Zebras, X-Hood, Turtle, and Pugman. Shout out.
Massive shout out. Honestly, that was amazing. I even considered making the condition of the sponsor for the prize that it has to be for a charity, but I feel like it should be still within the team's responsibility to decide like what they want to do with the money, because then again, they did earn it.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I'll talk with them about it too. Honestly, I wouldn't really be too opposed with having the money go to charity. I guess at the end of the day, it'll just decide how much cash prize you'd be willing to sponsor and how much we can raise. Of course.
We shall negotiate that in private, however. So,
of course,
if you don't have any questions left from me, I believe we have hit the time mark of just over 20 minutes. So, Pleasant, thank you so much.
About that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. I'd love to have you back on here another time. We should definitely message you about that. But thank you all for coming on.
The CyTALKSalots Podcast again.
Yes, it's a very clever piece of work. Podcast. Oh yeah, definitely. So
actually, is a really good name.
It's an amazing. I genuinely, the name, aka this is a random tangent, but the name came to me. I was like, the CyTALKSalots Podcast. Yeah, it doesn't quite sound right. So I messaged my moderator Chewy. Shout out to Chewy, and I believe Ackley's Gone Light, one of my fellow collaborators, and I was like, should we call it CyTALKSalots? Because it kind of, it's a clever bit of wordplay.
Got a ring to it.
And then I made the little logo, and honestly, I really like it. So yes, I would love to have you back on the CyTALKSalots podcast at a different point. Shout out to Pleasant Player.
To come back.
Of course, all of your socials will be linked in the description, as well as the link to the HSL Discord server. Can't wait to see everybody on there. And of course, if anybody would like to apply for the position of team captain, hit us up. We'd love to have you. We'd love to hear from you.
content creators too as well. You know, we want to make sure we can get an engaging community here. So
of course,
content creator, hit us up.
Hit us up. Well, that is all we have time for today, folks. We will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Have a pleasant day. Bye.
Bye.